So this is a Swift Eccles 480, just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. In front of the van we've got a jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll demonstrate these to you in person here on site. In the front locker you have your gas bottle tie downs. You can carry a maximum of 2 6-kilogram propane gas bottles at any point on board the caravan, and you have 2 straps to strap them down with. You've then got your regulator up on the bulkhead, which is connected directly to the gas bottle, and it is open to the right when you turn the valve to the right, and closed when you turn the valve to the left. So anti-clockwise open, clockwise closed. You'll need to have that on before you try to ignite anything on gas inside of the caravan. From down the side of the caravan you've got your Aldi heating and hot water flue, very much there just to allow the heating system to breathe, a bit like the flue on the side of your house. 2 wind down legs on either side, one wind down leg on either side at the front of the caravan, and they are just there to stabilise the caravan while it's on site. We've then got our water pump connection. Pull the trigger back and release from the side of the van, and pull the trigger back and push in to lock it in place. You've then got your pickup pipe that drops down inside the ack roll. Battery and mains lead coming into the side of the caravan, very simply there to allow mains power to come into the van. You'd connect it to both connections first, and then turn the power supply on at the power post. Motor mover and wheel nuts. We'll torque the wheel nuts before the caravan leaves site, so you can see they've been tightened correctly, and then we'll demonstrate the motor mover later in the video. 2 fridge vents, very simply there to allow the hot air out the back of the fridge unit and to take some cool air in. If these are ever covered up while the fridge is in use, it will stop the fridge from working correctly, so you do need to make sure they are uncovered. There's no covers on them at the moment, but I mean, if you decided to buy some yourselves, you would need to remove those every time prior to use. Flap here, you open this up and you'll put 3.5 litres of water in here and a cap full of the pink fluid for the toilet flush system. And you would need to keep an eye on that, or top that up occasionally after a few uses of the toilet. In the bottom, you've got the toilet waste cassette. Pull up the orange handle and pull the cassette towards you. The orange neck here turns out 90 degrees, so you can tip the waste away. The orange button on the back of the cassette here is an orange pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. You'll need to put 1 litre of water in that cassette and a cap full of the blue fluid prior to use. On the back of the van, you've got your 2 wind down legs to stabilise the caravan while it's on site. Coming down the door side of the caravan, you've got a 3-pin socket, so you've got power out to your awning. Storage locker for underneath your front seating area, and then a barbecue gas point also. Coming onto the inside of the caravan now, above the door, as you come into the van, you've got your main power button, which you press to turn on the control panel. You need to press the button, press and hold, there we go, and the control panel will come on. It will go through a loading screen when it's actually been turned off. Just hit it quickly, it'll actually put it into a sleep mode essentially, rather than a off mode. Next thing we're going to need to do is fill the water system up. So as you can see, control panel's been set, etc. on the screen here. You've got water pump, which I'm just going to turn off. You've got your awning light for the outside of the caravan. You've got your interior lighting and the brightness of the lights above the front cabinet. So they're actually dimming lights, so you can actually control them on the control panel here. Then you've got your power supply, which will tell you how much battery voltage you've got on board the caravan, solar panel voltage, and how much you've got coming from the car. You've then got your general settings in the control panel, so you can set your time, day, etc. in there. And then you've got your radio options here, which has also got a DAB radio built in. Just hit mode to select the different radio options and tune, etc. and scan to select the options you want. So, like I said, the first thing we're going to need to do is fill the water system up. So we're going to come underneath the seat on the front right-hand side of the caravan. And underneath this seat, you will find a yellow valve. That yellow valve is the drain down valve for the water system on board the caravan. When that valve is in the position it's in now, you can actually fill the water system up. If it's upright and pointing towards the bottom of the seat, it will drain the water system down completely. So valve flat with the floor to fill the system up. Once that valve is flat with the floor, the ack roll is connected on the outside, as we've already shown you. Open all the taps up on the hot side of the water system, as you can see here. Then you'll come over to your control panel above the door and turn the water pump on. Now once that water system is completely full and you've got water flowing out of every tap continuously on board the caravan, the water system is primed and ready to go. At that point you can shut the taps off, and then you can start thinking about warming the water on board the caravan. So like I said, you do that with every tap, prime the system, you have them all open at the same time. Generally it'll be the kitchen that fills up first, then it'll go through to the sink, then the shower in the bathroom. So to warm the water, you have this control panel to the left-hand side of the main control panel above the door. Turn it off, you've got an isolate power button here on the left-hand side. Turn that on. Then you've got your menu button, which will take you through into the options for the heating and hot water. The other thing you'll need to check is, once that's turned on, is just to make sure on the control box underneath the seat that the charger and hot water switch is turned on. And as you'll see at that point, the green and orange lights are on. You can isolate all of the power inside the caravan by hitting the power button just here. Now we've got all the mains power turned on inside the van. We can come over to the main control panel above the door on the left hand side, hit the menu button, and the top row here is your room temperature. You've got minus or plus for your room temperature. Higher you go, obviously the hotter the heating will be. Below that you've got your water temperature, so you've got water temperature on and water temperature boost when you're showering on board the caravan. Below that you've got the amount of power coming into the caravan from the caravan site you're on. So either you've got off, 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts. And essentially that'll just control the power going to the heating and hot water control panel, not the rest of the caravan. You can run the heating and hot water system on gas should you wish to. You can hit the gas icon. It will self-ignite on gas, and when it has ignited on gas, the system will stay, or the light will stay green here. If it fails to ignite, it will come up with gas fail at the bottom of the screen with 2 exclamation marks. You have got some advanced options in the control panel on the right hand side here where the gear symbol is. However, for these we do advise you read the manual that comes with the caravan. Next up, we're going to go to the fridge. The fridge is very straightforward to use. You're going to press and hold the power button. Fridge will come on, and at the moment, as you can see, we're on mains power. You can control the temperature of the fridge on mains by hitting the button on the right hand side here, and the more amount of lights you have lit up, the colder the fridge will be. Mode, it will go, hit the mode button, it will go to auto. Essentially that will select the first power source it sees. So if you're connected to the car, for instance, it will go to the 12 volt mode. If you're on mains power, as it's done now, it will go to mains, and if it sees gas first, it'll ignite on the gas. 12 volt mode, we're not actually connected to a car at the moment, as you can see. So what that'll do is when you connect to the car, it will allow you to use the fridge as a cool box. At the moment though, it's indicating it is failed due to the fact there's no 12 volt supply from the car you're towing with. It will only work if you have the correct connection on the car that you are towing with, and it will only work if you have that 12 volt live wired up inside that plug. If it is wired up, then it should also charge the battery on board the caravan. Gas mode, very simple to use. Hit the mode button, it goes to gas. If it ignites on gas and it is working on gas, the blue light here will stay solid blue. If it fails to ignite, you'll get a blue light appear underneath the warning triangle, and you'll get a flashing blue light underneath the flame symbol, and that indicates it has failed to ignite. I would advise, if it fails to ignite the first time you try to do it, ignite the hob, grill and oven, get the gas through to there, because generally it's the last point on the gas system, and then you'll be able to try and reignite the fridge on gas. Talking of the hob, grill and oven, they all work very much like the same as your household appliances. The 240 electric ring will only work if you are connected to mains power, the same as the microwave. It will not work off 12 volt supply. Coming into the bathroom now, very simple. Last bit of the video before we do the motor mover. Electric flush on the toilet just here. Toilet full indicator light that will illuminate red when the toilet waste cassette is completely full. The toilet seat itself actually turns for your convenience, as you can see here. However, when you're removing the toilet waste cassette from the side of the caravan, you do need to make sure this toilet's in the straight on position. Below the toilet, you have your toilet waste handle. So you need to have that in the open position when you're using the toilet, and the closed position when you're not using the toilet. Essentially, if it's in the closed position when you're not using it, it will stop any smells coming up inside the caravan, and it will also allow you to remove the toilet waste cassette from the side of the van so you can empty it. If the toilet seat is turned or that flap is open, it will stop you from removing that cassette. And if you do, you will more than likely damage the cassette bit itself. A lot of people, when they go into Swift, not sure where the light switch is for the bathroom. It's just down the side of the sink here, as you can see. So just down to the left-hand side. So take it onto the outside of the van now, once I've disconnected the mains power, so you can see the motor mover working. Just want to show you this while I've got the chance to. I left it on gas so you can see what it came up with if it failed on gas. And as you can see, gas fail illuminating it on the screen. And it'll go red just here. And when you turn that back off, it'll go green again. So I'm going to turn the control panel off there. Press and hold the power button. and that'll be the control panel turned off and the power isolated inside the van. Go on to the outside of the caravan now, and I'll demonstrate the motor mover. So to operate the motor mover, it's a very simple task. You need to make sure the back legs are up on the caravan. Just for a moment, I'm just going to wind the jockey wheel down. Now to engage it on the wheels, you have the motor mover engagement bar here. Put it down onto the side of the van. Put it onto the side of the motor mover and push it over and lock it into place. You'll then check the other side to make sure the other side has done the same. Which it has, as you can see. So it's now engaged against the wheel. The bar on the front A-frame for a minute. Move the act roll out of the way. And then what you'll do next is turn the power on in the locker here. Got a little tab there that goes into that little receiver. Push it into place and turn it 90 degrees. And that'll be the power turned. The battery then will be focused towards the motor mover. So it's turning on the motor mover so the power goes to the units on the wheels. We'll then come inside the van and grab the motor mover control. Press the 2 green buttons. The screen will go green, which means the motor mover is active. We'll then come to the front of the van and release the handbrake. As you can see there. And then you have forwards. You'll have backwards. You'll have turn. And the same going back this way. Then you have the turns at the rear. And the same here. Press the 2 buttons opposite each other for the turn, and the caravan will actually spin on the spot. So if you've got a tight area to get it into, you can do that by hitting the 2 turn buttons, which is a little bit hard to do. And that is how the motor mover works. At that point, when you're done with it, press the 2 green buttons again, and the controller will turn off. Pull on the handbrake. I'm just going to put the controller back inside the van in a second and disengage the mover. Turn the power off in the side locker. Most people leave the key in the side there when they're not using it. Handbrake's on. So then we can disengage the motor mover off the wheels, put the bar on. Do advise you check both sides before you try and tow it down the road, even though it has engaged on both sides. And then we'll disengage, and you'll see the motor mover is now off the wheel. So that is the Swift Eccles 480. If you have any further questions on the van, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate the business, and we look forward to seeing you soon on site again. Thanks for now. Bye bye.